Hello everyone and welcome. In this video we're going to take a look at the section 5 numbers challenge question. Now in this one we're going to take a look at all of the different aspects that we looked at in this section. There was a lot that we covered. Numbers are challenging, and so make sure to go back through those lessons if there is something that you have questions on. Let's get started. Question 1 is going to be figure out which one is causing the issue in this formula, G2. Now, if you click onto this, it should bring you to that cell. So the expected result would be summing those two numbers and then getting it into that. So what could be the issue? The answer here is that it is correctly showing the two spots. If you click into this, you can see where it's trying to add, but for whatever reason, it's going into 5. If you look here, you can see that J is on this right side, whereas 20 is on the left side. One thing with numbers is that if it doesn't have any change, and I haven't changed any of the formatting, then numbers will always be on the right side. So the issue is that the 20 is not formatted as a number. If you click in, you can see that there's that apostrophe before it. So if you remove that, or if you just simply delete all of it and add the 20 again, hit enter, that will fix it. I'm just going to do Command Z to undo. The other thing you can do as well, I'll bring this down, is you can go to Format, Number, and then go to Number. Now the formatting might be slightly different. You can use this to bring it back to that 20. Either way would work to get it to be 25, which is the sum of 20 and 5. Question 2 is kind of stemming off of that, which again is a very important concept, is why is it important not to change the alignment of numbers? Just like we saw here, it's important as you go through maybe a larger table to be able to see, oh, this one is formatted to the left. It's probably not formatted as a number. Whereas if you choose to format everything here into the middle, you won't know. You'll have to click into every single cell in order to change it. Or rather, you could also just highlight it all and switch it to a number. But again, it's important to just leave numbers. That's just best practice for others to use it as well as yourself, just in case something does get changed into text instead of number. For this next one, change the format to currency. You can go to G4. So we want this to be a currency. There are, of course, a few different ways. I want this into American dollars, so I'm just going to go to Format, Numbers. You can see here it is formatted as a number versus a currency. So there are options. Any of these would work as a currency. I'm just going to push the one that is currency. And you can see here, it did round it to the nearest cent, or the 100th place, and that works. I'm going to do Command Z to undo. The other option is you can use the hotkeys, which would be Control, Shift, and then the number 4. It has the $sign, so that's a kind of a helpful indicator of it being the formatting as a number. Again, you can use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to get it into different number formatting. Question 4. A date is showing up like this, CG5. You can click that. How could you make this into a date? This has to do with the lessons on dates, where each number, so 1, 2, 3, 4, is assigned a specific day. So as the numbers get larger and larger, it'll be a different date. Really, all you need to do is go back to the formatting and change the formatting from a number into a date or a date time. Since this one doesn't have anything in the decimal point, all you would need to do is a date. So this will be August 30th, 1963. Alternatively, you can use Control Shift. Remember, that'll go back to a number if you do Control Shift 1, and you can choose Control Shift 3. And that keyboard shortcut will automatically change it to a date. Number 5, with the above date, can you extract the time from it? Why or why not? You mentioned there's no decimal place in this. Thus, that means there's not going to be any time. Say, for example, we do Control Shift 2, that will switch to a time. Up here, you can see that it's all zeros. So that means midnight, and that is the default if you just have it formatted as a date. you would not be able to do that based off of this is probably not going to be 12 a.m. to the T. Question 6. When looking at time, how can you tell if a cell is formatted as 2 in an hours column into a calculable duration? Right here, we have someone using hours, and they just put a 2 here. If we look at this and how it's stored in a time, you can see that it's going to be 12 a.m. and it's going to be the date 1/1/1900 because every one is going to be an entire 24-hour date. So I'm just going to do undo to get it back to 2. In order to change this into a time format with a duration, you would actually have to consider that this 2 is a date, and we need to change it into hours. So 1 equals an entire 24-hour period. So in order to get this into a duration or into hours, you would have to take that cell, so this one here, 2, and divide it by 24 hours. So now this is going to show 24 hours. Now that isn't completed yet because we want it in a duration. So if we go to Format, Numbers, and go to Duration, now we have it set to 2 hours. Similarly, if we remove this 24, push Enter, you can see that this is showing 48 hours because this is 2 complete days. So again, if you are doing this where you're just inputting hours, like maybe how many hours someone works, 2, 8, 9, 12, whatever, you would have to divide it all by 24 in order to get it into an accurate duration. Question 7. With the 2 dates, how can you find the duration between them? So we have this date here as well as this date here. So how would we be able to determine what's the duration between them? Now, if you click into these two, you can see there's no time, so we don't have to worry about the time. Since this is the today function, there's no time on it. If it was now, you would actually have that timestamp. Just pushing escape to go back to the time. And so we don't have to worry about the decimal points. So all you would need to do, and maybe I should have like an extra little spot here, your answer. All right, you'll see this formatted as long as I remember to do that. So feel free to answer here. What you can do is equal sign, and you can take this one, because this is going to be the larger number, minus this one. And there is 118 days between these two. Now again, this is when I am recording the video. So if you continue on, this today is going to get larger and larger. But again, that would be the answer. If you switch these, G minus that, you'll get the same answer. It'll just be negative. Essentially, subtract the two to find the difference. Question 8. Create a custom number formatting rule to show the following emojis for the following conditions on numbers. Test it on the table named question 8. And if you click it, it's this one over here. That's a little bit confusing to me, and I wrote this. Essentially, what we want to see is we have the numbers here, and we want emojis on this side based off of these sets of rules. So there's this positive will be that face, 0, and then negatives. So I'm just going to copy those. And here is where we want to have a custom number formatting rule. So essentially, we want to show one of those, just similarly to like, say you have the up arrow if something is increasing in price, decreasing, or staying the same, something on those lines. And in this, we want to show just those emojis. So you go to Format. So you go to Format, Number, Custom Number Format. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to paste those in, and I'm going to remove these parts just to keep the emojis. And let's see, I'm just going to have these here So positive, negative, 0. Now I flip-flop those, so I'm just going to copy that and paste it over there. Delete this one. So positive is going to be that little happy heart. Negative is going to be the scared face, and then 0 is the meh, or whatever you want to call that. Hit apply. Now we have this formatted the correct way. Question 9 is a bonus, as well as question 10. How could you show both the number and the emojis in the same cell with the custom rule? What you would have to do is you have to go back and make sure that you click in one of the cells. Since this is a table, you can just do it on one, and tables will automatically format the entire column with that. You can go to Format, Numbers, Custom Number Format. You'll already see those, and what you could do is just put number. Now you might want to have it in dollars, .00, just to show. You could have a space in there if you want. Up to you. You could have it in the front. There, I didn't specify what it was, so I'm just going to do that same thing. Outside of the 0, I might want it just to be 0.00. Let's do a space between them. There we go. And then this one I want negative. So essentially, you can have both text, or in this case, emojis, as well as the dollar signs, the numbers, whatever, and it'll change based off of it. Once you hit apply, now you can see that all of them will show the exact same number, just with the emoji by it. Now it might look a little bit cleaner if you have the emoji on the other side, because then the emojis will all line up, whereas the numbers will kind of be there, but up to you, up to your data. Last one is question 10, and it's also a bonus. Again, these are some extra things, but how could you also, on top of the cells, show the emoji and then also a color if it's positive, negative, or 0? Try doing something like green for positive, gray for 0, and red for negative. So go back to one of those, Format, Number, Custom Number Format. Maybe this time, let's try moving this. I'm just going to do Command X to cut this, just so we can see what that looks like if it's on the back. Space. Cut, and then some space. There we go. Now what you have to do is you have to make those brackets and then do green. And now you can see that has a green. This one is negative, so let's do space red. I don't think you actually need a space in it. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference. I just like to do that so looks a little cleaner. Gray. So you can't actually put gray in there. You'd have to find a color number in order to do that. So now in order to get this into a gray, you actually need to find the correct color. Then you can go to this link here to find the different color numbers. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So find a gray that you want. Maybe let's do this one just so we can see. So it's color 16. You can copy it. Go back to your spreadsheet, data, format, numbers, custom number format, and then here, paste that in. And now you can see that that one is gray. Hit apply, and it's there. Again, probably just using black is also doable, but wanted to revisit that concept of the color number options. I know that was kind of a lot there. If you wanted to, you can also easily show the solutions here. This is essentially what we went through. In this example, I did 48. So if we go back to this, format, number, custom number, let's go to 48. And that's another lighter gray. But again, both of them are gray, and that's fine. Hopefully you find this helpful. Learning about numbers will elevate anyone's spreadsheet game from kind of you've dabbled with them in order to be an experienced individual that can help troubleshoot and find solutions. for any spreadsheet needs. Thank you again for watching. Please do those social things like share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next section where we visit different intermediate functions. See you there. Bye now.